This is just a small sample of those who have come out and those who are watching this case. It speaks to who she was and someone who's going to be eternally missed.
Dozens of Amanda Williams' family and friends filling the Justice Center Tuesday morning, a sign of support. The mom of 3 murdered inside a Warrensville Heights home last month. Today marking the start of justice for those who knew and loved the 46-year-old.
I think it's just going to be a long process. We're going to take it one day at a time.
Police say they got a domestic disturbance call on October 9th. When police arrived, they say that's when they discovered Williams was shot several times. She was rushed to the hospital, but later died.
The family's still grieving.
Warrensville Heights police last week issued an arrest warrant for her fiancé, Terrell Edwards. He would eventually turn himself in. Williams' family says there is a long history of domestic violence, which ultimately ended with her life being taken too soon.
On March 4th, a Cuyahoga County jury found 42-year-old Terrell Edwards guilty of killing his fiancée, 46-year-old Amanda Williams, inside of her home in Warrensville Heights just before midnight on October 9th, 2023. The Common Pleas Court jury found Edwards guilty on 5 of 6 counts: not guilty of aggravated murder, guilty of 2 counts of murder, guilty of 2 counts of felonious assault, and guilty of domestic violence. He faces more than 20 years in prison when Judge Stephen Gall sentences him at noon on Monday, March 11th. Edwards claims that he shot Amanda in self-defense at her home on Sunset Drive. County prosecutors argue that Edwards killed Amanda after she tried to end their relationship. The couple got into an argument, as shown on video presented in court, and Amanda clutched a knife as she told him to get out of her home. Meanwhile, Edwards began recording Amanda with a cell phone. This video was presented in court, capturing the moments leading up to the shooting. Edwards' attorney argued that the video and other evidence in the case lines up with his claims of self-defense. The death of Amanda Williams, a beauty salon owner, member of the Word Church and the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, sparked outrage from her family and members of the church and sorority. They launched a social media campaign to pressure authorities to investigate Edwards' claim of self-defense after he was released from custody after initially turning himself in. A key figure in the rally for justice in Amanda's case, her pastor, Dr. R.A. Vernon of the Word Church, says, "Justice did prevail, and for that I'm grateful." Although Vernon calls this a victory, he says Amanda's presence is still missed by all.
The court just wrapped up a few moments ago. Today, the prosecution and defense were in agreement that Edwards shot and killed his fiancée, Amanda Williams. They say what the question is whether he did so in an intentional act of murder or whether he was acting in self-defense. During opening arguments, the prosecution shared that in early October, the couple was having a tense day of arguing. They said that night, Edwards and Williams got into a very heated argument in their bedroom. The prosecution claims that Edwards fired 6 shots at Williams in anger after she told him to leave the house. The defense says he fired the shots after she attacked him with a knife.
She had told him to leave. "I want you to leave. Go." He said no. And she has a knife with her. And they're arguing. And the defendant gets a gun and shoots her 6 times.
There's nothing mistakable about this. This man, at the moment he shot, did not want to be stabbed with that knife. And it was imminent, and that's the choice he made. And we believe when the court instructs you on self-defense, that is self-defense, and that's the only choice he had. He goes downstairs.
The prosecution did show pictures today of a knife near Williams's body that were taken by emergency responders. The first person to take the stand today was Cuyahoga County Deputy Medical Examiner Dr. Elizabeth Mooney. She told the courtroom that the cause of Amanda Williams's death was gunshot wounds, and the manner of her death was homicide. She found 8 gunshot wounds on Williams's body. The prosecution asked her if the 6 gunshots fired by Edwards could create create the 8 gunshot wounds? And she said yes, because one bullet could create multiple wounds. Dr. Mooney says one of the bullets completely separated 2 of the vertebrae in Williams's upper spinal column, which most certainly paralyzed Williams's upper and lower body and possibly could have been fatal. But she explained that there was no way that Williams could have survived the bullet that went through her heart.
This wound, and this is letter F there, was this wound fatal by itself?
Yes.
And why is that?
Injuring the heart and aorta, those will cause bleeding very, very quickly. Not much chance to repair that.
Those side effects would be something that could be...
The courtroom became very emotional today when the prosecution showed photos of Williams's dead body at the medical examiner office. You could see her family crying, even wiping tears from her eyes. As for Edwards, he put his head down for this entire part and didn't raise his head again until they were done showing the pictures. So we first want to warn everyone that this information and video could be quite hard to hear and watch. So Edwards had recorded multiple cell phone videos of himself and Williams arguing in their bedroom. And today in the courtroom, the prosecution played those cell phone videos. Edwards had previously told Warrensville Heights police that he started recording the videos when Williams pulled a knife on him, holding him hostage in their bedroom. He says that when she attacked him with the knife, he shot her several times in self-defense. We're about to play 2 of those cell videos that are disturbing. The prosecution said that this first video is of Williams holding a knife while arguing with Edwards, putting the knife down and then walking towards her fiancé. The next video, they say, is after Williams had grabbed the recording cell phone out of Edwards' hands. You then hear a lot of commotion, and then comes the gunshots. 3 News has chosen to stop the video before Edwards shoots.
You gonna stab me?
I'm going to defend myself.
Defend yourself from what?
I'm going to defend myself.
You acting violent? There you go. See? No, you chill out. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out.
You know what?
Chill out. Why you trying to help me with?
You know what? You know what?
The prosecution next plays the video of the shooting in slow motion and rotated for easier viewing. They stress that in the video, Edwards never asks Williams to put down the knife, never tells her he has a gun, and doesn't warn her that he's going to shoot her. They also say that while Edwards is near the headboard of the bed grabbing the gun from under the mattress, Williams is several feet away towards the foot of the bed and was not near or approaching Edwards.
The man accused of killing his fiancée is defending his actions in court. You're looking at Terrell Edwards there on the stand today, testifying that he shot Amanda Williams 6 times and did so in self-defense. Closing arguments wrapped up just in the last half hour now. Matt Rascone has the latest for us.
All right, for jury.
After 3 days of testimony and looking at evidence,
I'm going to defend myself.
Defend yourself from
I'm
what?
going to defend myself.
Terrell Edwards took the stand arguing self-defense.
I just shot rapidly. I was scared. She had me so scared with that knife.
Edwards says he and Amanda had a pretty good relationship before October 9th last year. That's when an argument over phone texts boiled over.
And she's coming out of my closet with a whole bunch of clothes, and she's throwing them all over the floor, telling me to get out.
Edwards says he intended to leave, but Amanda grabbed a kitchen knife and held him in their room. Prosecutors didn't buy it.
You just said you were de-escalating by telling her to chill out. Why didn't you de-escalate further by saying, I've got your gun, please stop?
Like I said, I didn't want to shoot her.
Edwards says he got a hold of Amanda's gun as he was trying to get away from her and testified he had only 2 choices, get stabbed or shoot.
I'm trying to run to get away, and that's when she cut me off and she lunged at me with the knife. I had no other choice.
She never knew you had her gun, did she?
I don't believe so, no.
Edwards shot Amanda 6 times and then called 911. Amanda's daughter, Tyler, heard and ran upstairs.
Why not let Tyler go to her mother and try to help her?
Didn't want Tyler to be traumatized.
Really?
I didn't. trying to get over there. I didn't want her to see her mom like that.
So it was for you to decide.
After nearly 5 months since the murder of Amanda Williams, family and friends like Pastor Ari Vernon say they feel a sense of relief after hearing Monday's verdict.
Justice did prevail in my opinion today, and for that I'm grateful.
Like I said, found guilty, he doing life, and that's that.
Walking out of the courtroom Monday afternoon, family and friends are seen hugging each other after the jury found Amanda Williams' fiancé, Terrell Edwards, guilty on 5 out of the 6 counts, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault and domestic violence. He was found not guilty of aggravated murder. Although Vernon calls this a victory, he says Williams' presence is still missed by all.
Nothing's going to bring Amanda back. Nothing fixes that.
I first started reporting on the death of Amanda Williams last October. Her friends told me they were devastated when Warrensville Heights police found the 46-year-old shot and killed following the domestic violence disturbance.
Just the little things that I'm going to miss. So much love.
Police detained Edwards for questioning, and 2 days later, they released him when the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office found insufficient evidence to charge him with a crime. The prosecutor's office also stated Edwards planned to claim self-defense in the shooting. That's when family, friends, and supporters of Williams band together to speak out.
I just want justice for my mom. Something has to happen. We don't feel safe.
A little more than a week later, Edwards turned himself into police on Friday, November 2nd. Vernon tells me he believes their rally played a significant part.
Made people take us serious, including Prosecutor O'Malley, that the weight of that ministry could have made some real noise if justice wasn't served.
Edwards did take the stand this past Friday, telling the jury Williams lunged at him with a knife. Still, this wasn't enough for the jury to side with his self-defense claim.
I would like for women to learn from this that domestic violence is real, and one time is enough, and you can lose your life by staying too long.
Mr. Edwards, you could please stand. The verdict forms in this case, count 1. Verdict reads, we, the jury in this case, being duly impaneled and sworn, do find the defendant, Terrell Edwards, not guilty of aggravated murder in violation of 2903.01a of the Ohio Revised Code as charged in count 1 of the indictment. It is signed in ink by all 12 jurors, and the specifications are not completed. Count 2, the verdict reads, we, the jury in this case, being duly impaneled and sworn, do find the defendant, Terrell Edwards, guilty of murder in violation of Revised Code Section 2903.02a of the Ohio Revised Code as charged in count 2 of the indictment. It is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. Pursuant to their directions, the firearm specification. All right. First firearm specification, which reads, we, the jury in this case, having found the defendant guilty of murder, further find and specify that the defendant, Terrell Edwards, did have a firearm on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense of murder as charged in count 2 of the indictment. It is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. Firearm specification 2 reads, we, the jury in this case, having found defendant guilty of murder, further find and specify that the defendant, Terrell Edwards, did have a firearm on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense and displayed the firearm, brandished the firearm, indicated he possessed the firearm or used it to facilitate the offense of murder. It's charged in count 2 of the indictment. It is filled out in ink by all 12 jurors. Verdict form for count 3, charge of murder. We, the jury in this case, being duly impaneled and sworn, do find the defendant, Terrell Edwards, guilty of murder in violation of Revised Code Section 2903.02b of the Ohio Revised Code as charged in count 3 of the indictment. It is filled out in ink by all 12 jurors. Furthermore, both of the firearm specifications indicate that he did have a firearm on or about his person or under his control. Verdict form for count 4. Felonious assault reads, we, the jury in this case, being duly impaneled and sworn, do find the defendant, Terrell Edwards, guilty of felonious assault in violation of Section 2903.11a1 of the Revised Code as charged in count 4 of the indictment. It is completed in ink by all 12 jurors, or signed in ink by all 12 jurors. There are further findings is that he did have a firearm on his person or under his control in both of the specifications, which is also completed in ink. Count 5, charge of felonious assault. We, the jury in this case, being duly impaneled and sworn, do find Defendant Terrell Edwards guilty of felonious assault in violation of Section 2903.11A2 of the revised code. This charge of count 5 of the indictment. It is accurately signed by all 12 jurors in ink, as well as both of the firearm specifications are found that he did have a firearm. Those are signed as well in ink. Finally, count 6, the verdict form reads, we, the jury in this case, being duly impaneled and sworn, do find Defendant Terrell Edwards guilty of domestic violence in violation of Section 2919.25A. Other revised code is charged in count 6 indictment. It is signed in ink by all 12 jurors. Anything else on behalf of the state of Ohio?
No, Judge, thank you.
Anything else on behalf of the defense?
I just ask that you poll the jury. All
right, so ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is just point to each one of you and ask if those verdicts are your individual verdicts. So, sir, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts? Ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts? Sir, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes.
And ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
And ma'am, are these verdicts your individual verdicts?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to ask you if you would just retire back in your jury room for a few minutes. I'll be back to join you. I do truly want to thank you on behalf of the entire community. These cases are important for everyone involved, and we definitely appreciate your efforts. All rise to the jury. Okay, thank you. All right. Anything else, Mr. Filiatro?
No, Judge, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Petropoulos?
Well, Your Honor, are we to pass this for sentencing, or what's your pleasure?
Yes, well, Mr. Filiatro, we can probably go to sentencing either, today's week, go on later in the week if you prefer. I can do next Monday, a week from today. Or if you'd like to get the benefit of a PSI, we can kick it out a couple of weeks. Here, if I may, why don't you check with your family, see what works best for any of them, and then also check with their account. I know that they are at some things as well, and then let Mr. Brown know. We'll do the sentencing at that point in time.
Well, I can tell you this, I'm not asking for a PSI. If they do, I have no objection, but that would delay things.
Well, we could probably get a post one and not to...
It's up to you.
I believe murder is going to cover most of these things, so I don't think that's necessary. So perhaps maybe next Monday. I know you guys, who knows what your trial schedule is going to be like.
I think we'll be fine.
You think so?
I think so.
Earlier in the...
No, not earlier. Similar situation. We'll be open Monday.
How about noon?
On Monday?
Yeah. All right, so that's sentencing for noon on Monday, March 11th, week from today.
Very good.
All right, thank you. We'll be in recess.
Nigga, like that's really crazy that you even try to play crazy with my mama like that.
All right.
No outburst in the court.
That nigga planned to kill my mama. It's not no like murder. No, that nigga planned that shit.
I need you to
Yeah, but I don't want to leave out of here. Oh, we didn't get what we wanted because he planned to do that. I've been thinking about that shit forever. You always wanted to kill my mother. Good life.
Hey, y'all, at this moment, we just tell God thank you.
Yeah, 5 times out of 6, that's okay.